And welcome on this beautiful Sunday morning, October the 5th, 2025. Coach Keyton Crawford here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. Please go out and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and also on Facebook, Tom's Take Community. No apostrophes, all one word. Also on our TikTok channel at Blue Belly Tom, all one word. So I had all wonderful weekend this homecoming weekend. I did with my Beta Theta Pi fraternity brothers from 50 years ago. 50 years ago, 5 decades worth of brotherhood. Those college days were wonderful, but I appreciate them more now than I did back then. Gary Keyton, I'm sure you have the same thing with your Michigan State folks, your teammates, brothers, and a whole bit, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Let's see. Spring of 87, 97, 2007, 2017. In 2 years, I have 40 years with my brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity
Phi Beta
Incorporated.
Sigma. Yes.
And I just talked to my Sands the other day because he's a big Eagles fan. So, he's living cloud nine right now.
Oh, yeah.
But no, that's a totally different. People don't understand, if you're not Greek, you don't understand. And in my opinion, if you're not Black Greek, it's totally different. The Divine Nine is a whole nother animal to deal with. But those are relationships that are built through trials and tribulations and things that you do together that can never be separated ever.
Well, storytelling, and in the dorm days, my college roommate says, "Crawl, let's go check out these fraternities." I go, "I'm not a fraternity guy. I'm just not one of those guys, So I go, "Okay, I'll go with you." So you have a wingman, and
right,
Beta Theta Pi right down there on State Street. You could walk to my, Michigan's a more condensed campus than your sprawling, gorgeous Michigan State campus, but it's practical, right? So Angel Hall and LS&A and even the Freeze building a couple blocks away, I could sleep in late, not just walk out my slippers and pajama bottoms to go to class. It was great.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so we had a great weekend. Summer weekend, we did the water skiing and all that stuff, and they cycled, and and Michigan won, although it was a little dicey there. That offense took a while. Mid third quarter, Donovan McCulley made a couple big grabs and had a touchdown. It got oiled, but I think Wisconsin defensive line are big. They rotated 8 guys that were close to 300 pounds, and Michigan could not run the ball interior-wise.
No.
They stretched it out, ran some stretch plays, some pass plays. Bryce Underwood, 270 yards, and Donovan McCulley had 6 catches for $112. A good win. We'll go back to that in a second, but I want to start out with Michigan State. I got home. Now, I had predicted all week on a couple of radio broadcasts, I had Michigan State winning this game. And the reason I say that, Carrie, because from what the season has happened so far and moving forward, I think Michigan State is going to compete much stronger than they did last year. They're going to compete all these games. They might not, who knows how many more games they're going to win, but they compete. They made mistakes and things like that. And I thought that when they took the lead, I thought that they were going to roll. And because I could, I was listening on the radio coming back from Ann Arbor, and the crowd seemed to completely go away. Michigan State was taking over.
It did.
But Nebraska had the big run, and they countered and tied it, and then it was over. But what were your thoughts on that? How do you feel about your alma mater, your former team, and where do they go from here?
Yeah, yesterday I was extremely disappointed in our offense, especially the offensive line.
300 yards, under 300 yards.
Yeah,
total offense. I don't think you win a lot of games doing that anymore.
No, especially the offensive. The offensive line was just not was unacceptable yesterday. And it forced it forced Childs to do things that he has been able to avoid
Right.
the first games of the year, and partially do. I mean, they're just getting beat, in pass pro and stuff. Like, as soon as they snapped the ball, they were getting beat. That's just unacceptable.
It was a jailbreak.
Yeah,
late in the fourth.
and we don't have, like I said, our margins are small.
Yeah.
We have playmakers. We're unable to get the ball to the playmakers, and our inability to run the football.
Yep.
Which is why we want to get into our play action game.
Mm-hmm.
We have none.
Right.
Now, that being said, I don't think we did we gotta throw the ball faster than. If we're not getting protection, then throw the damn ball 2 seconds after you get it then. Snap it and throw quick slants, throw hitches, let's looking at throwing some back shoulder stuff so we're getting faded and we're trying to throw the ball 50 yards down. Well, damn. Yeah, they talk about it the whole game that it was 900-mile-an-hour winds and this, that, and the other. Well, why are we trying to throw the ball all the way down the field into the wind or all the way down the field with the wind? Because we're going to overthrow and throw the quick stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Well, and then we don't even want to talk about the special teams that were absolutely not special yesterday.
Yeah, you can't have a punt block. I mean,
it reminded me of our.
You lose again when you have your punt block for a touchdown. Your chance of winning a game, I don't care what, pretty slim. That's just the way that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it just totally changed, and then because the defense was balling out yesterday.
Defense, kudos to that. I was impressed.
They were kicking. I mean, hell, we had more sacks yesterday than we had all season.
Yeah, 4 sacks in that first half or something.
They were getting after it and kicking ass and making plays, and then we just turn around and shoot ourselves in the foot offensively, and we can't get a running game, and then we're getting punts blocked, and then we're having bad punts, and then which I thought was real stupid. But one of the key plays in that, and I thought was big, was they had a third down and long, and that quarterback's helmet fell off.
Yeah.
And he should have been made to come out of the game.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
Now, do I think it's a good rule? No, I think it's a stupid rule because sometimes helmets, the chin strap just come whatever. Right. Just strap it back on, look at it as good, okay. But the rule is a helmet comes off, they got to come out.
Well, because they don't want people to take their helmet up to taunt people. Is where that originated from.
So the next play, he made a good pass. They got a first down. Then they got a good run. They got a touchdown. But if the backup comes in, who knows what happens? And that was the key play, I thought, for us because we had some momentum because the defense, I mean, we had a couple turnarounds where we muffed the kickoff and we stopped them. And it's like, the defense is doing so well here and we're finding ways to screw it up. That's a problem for me. And I said at halftime, like, the defense is playing great. The offense is playing ass, and we're still right there. If we can just be functional offensive line wise, just enough, and we got a shot. And
see, I think last year, Kerry, you would have lost this game 45-14. I think you would have. This is a different team. And I think Joe Rossi, I know people have been critical of him as a DC. I still believe in that guy. I mean, I would. I mean, Michigan State fan. I think he's a pretty decent defensive coordinator. But you have to play complementary football. And there's 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. The defense was out there on an island by themselves as the only unit that delivered consistently for 3 hours, 3 months.
Truly, they showed up. They did.
Yep.
And kudos to that crew and them guys because they played. They played yesterday, and it was unfortunate to see that effort go to waste because we couldn't be functional on offense enough.
Right.
And that was due, honestly, to the play of the offensive line. Just as unacceptable.
Yeah,
Got to be
okay.
better.
There's a critical game coming up for Michigan State. It's going to be homecoming. They'll have, homecoming is a big event at Michigan State, like everywhere else. They'll have a good crowd. The weather, I saw the extent is supposed to be, by the time we get Saturday, about 70 degrees, not 86 like it was in Ann Arbor. Good football weather. They're playing a UCLA team under interim coach Tim Skipper, who they were 0-4 going into this game. They're 24.5-point underdogs. And I think I'm trying to think of the stat of an 0-4 team playing a top 10 team or whatever Penn State was ranked. I mean, that hasn't happened in like 40 years. UTEP did it. That game was unbelievable. No, I didn't see that game much because that got over with right when I got home. But did that shock you? Now Michigan State's got to play this UCLA team. It's got a little confidence. So what are you expecting next Saturday?
I'm expecting the Michigan State to win because I'm not buying into the. I'm happy for them. Side note: did you see Rick Neuheisel's son?
I got a side note. Because when I did come into the house, I turned on CBS and they were in studio, and Rick Neuheisel is in studio for CBS, and he's like going, he's doing jumping jacks of excitement
awesome.
in that studio.
That was so awesome.
I did not realize his son was the OC.
I did not either.
Just got slotted in there in that role. Tim Skipper's moving people around.
Sure.
Sometimes little tweaks here and there. I'm not saying UCLA is back, but
right.
I think Michigan State will win next Saturday, but I think it's going to be way tougher than
but to finish my side note, I know my family looks a lot alike. My goodness. That guy, I mean, geez, golly, that was just too funny.
That was Rick Neuheisel, 1982 as the quarterback for the Bruins that beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Absolutely. I mean, he looks just like his dad. Exactly like his dad. That was
unbelievable. I thought the same thing.
The blonde flowing hair when they picked him up. I'm like, look at this. This is awesome. But no, I don't think they're going to be able to continue. That came at the right time for them, but the wrong time because now they're going to have to get on that plane.
Well, just like USC beats Michigan State, then they go play a 9:00 or a Pacific time game the following Saturday. And this travel thing is real. Weird. I mean, Washington finally woke up playing Maryland late in the game. And Washington, in my opinion, is better than Maryland. There's no doubt in my mind. Washington is better than Wisconsin and a lot of teams. But I think the travel thing, maybe it's a mental thing. It's one thing to go to a bowl game where you got 2 weeks of prep and all that crap to acclimate. But when you're in game week mode, and game week goes fast, as you well know, all of a sudden, they're packing, you're hopping on a plane, and I think that's also going to be a factor against UCLA and East Lansing.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge for both of our opinions. That's going to be huge for them. I don't think they'll be able to sustain that. I think it's definitely going to make it harder because now that they are feeling good about themselves, and
they are. It's all about attitude.
Feeling good about yourself makes a whole big difference when you're playing, in athletics. So it's definitely going to be different. But I still believe that the Spartans hopefully get with the defense sustain what we did this week, build off of that, get after Nico, because I think he'll be quick to now the dynamic with him where Raiola, like we talked about last week, they get after Raiola, he'll look for a way to fall down. Nico may take off and start running, and that could be a problem.
Yeah.
So, I think we're a better football team than they are. We just have to prove it. And I don't know how dynamic their defensive line will be as opposed to Nebraska's, who number 8 was a problem, and their guys were very aggressive up front and caused us a lot of issues. But
I think you talking about play action a little bit ago. I think Michigan State will be able to run the ball in UCLA next
and
week.
that would be
And all of a
that's a
sudden,
total difference in our offense.
all of a sudden, and well, not just Michigan State's offense, but when you get a running game going early on, you establish a play action, and all of a sudden they're on their heels at the second, third level, and whatever they don't know where to go, front and go. Where do we choose to? What poison we choose? That's why I think Michigan State's going to win the game. I think they're going to be able to. I think Michigan State's offensive output will be good, and their defense will continue to be good. So I'm expecting a 7 to 10 point win. I will make early prediction for Michigan State over UCLA, at least 7.
Yeah, I could feel that. I could feel that. I'm really. Well, one, I'm excited to see UCLA in Spartan Stadium for one thing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, and then conversely, Michigan goes out to the Coliseum to play. I mean, they went out to the Coliseum in '72 to play UCLA, but a game at the Coliseum, they haven't gone there since 1958. Michigan to play UFC in the Coliseum. So all this, there's some weird, all this first of and so many decades, game note type things that we're hearing about. But what do you think? I mean, Michigan, I think they had a little rust going on early on, and they couldn't run the ball early on until they got the aerial game with McCulley. I think they found their guy, but they play USC not at 11 o'clock at night Eastern time, but 7:30 at night Eastern time. They go to Coliseum to play the Trojans. What do you think is going to happen, Kerry Keyton?
They have to be able to run the football, which I think they will against USC.
Yeah.
So, and I also believe you got to make sure that they let 19 run the ball too.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a key for them to let him get some quarterback runs on some read plays and that kind of thing. I think that, that big, number 1, I'd never seen him before. So that was,
Donovan McCulley played Indiana 2 years ago, and he was all Big Ten. Okay. And then he went to the portal, and then he was with Michigan last year. I think it was, this is his first year of emergence, okay? And he's big. And Michigan, in fact, I asked Sharon, because they were talking about our receivers. It's the weakness of this team going into this game.
Right.
Probably still is. They're catching the ball. I mean, there's a lot of drops, Samaj Morgan.
Yeah.
They went back to the fundamentals of catching the football, keeping it away from your body.
Right.
During the bye week. And McCulley is he's finally a taller receiver. He
looks like Derek Alexander wearing the number 1.
Yeah, that's a good. I thought about that too. He does look like Derek Alexander, and so
that's a good catch because the boys dropping dimes in there, and they're just dropping the ball all over the place.
I mean, and then they're running those stretch plays, they'll swing out, and Bryce throws the ball like a laser. He doesn't take anything off it, even in those.
Yeah, we got to work on that a little bit.
And maybe he could back it down, but there are a lot of drops, and going and there were some more drops yesterday. But you're right. I think that they're going to have to play fully run pass complementary football to beat USC. USC's got a lot of talent offensively, and I've noticed this about Michigan, Oklahoma game, the Nebraska game, and the Wisconsin game. First possession for the opposition. All scripted plays, 8-play, 12-play touchdown. Or Michigan or Nebraska went down to the 4, and then they went for it on 4th down. But they're going the length of the field on the first possession. The opposition is. And then Michigan makes adjustments. And Wisconsin didn't get much after that first possession. But what is it about those scripted plays? I mean, that's 2 weeks worth of prep that their offense did. Why is scripted plays early in the first? Why is that happening, Kerry? Shouldn't the defense be able to adjust to that?
Well, and working with Coach Frocco for the past 8 years, we're very similar like that. Our first drives are pretty dang good
Yeah.
because you watch those defensive guys, they're like trying to find the right word, but they, they do what they do.
Yeah.
So you can plan your game plan to this is what they're pretty much going to do.
That's a lot of film work that runs off of.
Exactly. So, and they're not going to change in the middle of the first drive. They're
Okay.
going to have to look at what they're doing, go sit down, look at the iPad, figure out,
Okay. So
blah,
4
blah,
plays
blah.
in. So 4 plays. So you're telling me, and I'm asking this. Your football intel is zillions ahead of mine, but you're telling me you cannot make adjustments as a DC during that first scripted drive of the opposition.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying, will you? Will you? Because you've been practicing against this, and this all week. Well, if you're practicing against what we do in, say, 12 personnel, and we come out with, okay, we're going to do this, and we've added a couple wrinkles in our 12 personnel that you weren't ready for.
Okay.
Well, now I got you.
Yep.
So, and if we go, 21 personnel, and we've got a couple new wrinkles in this week, you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
So you can't now, and again, this is high school now, but college is very similar. That's about the only few wrinkles we have because you just can't go and start overhauling the whole damn offense.
Right.
Either. So once you see those couple things, well, okay, remember, they did this. Well, they may have one more wrinkle off of that, but they're not going to have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So then after that first series or two, what happens? Offensive guy settles back into what he's normally been doing. Defensive guy settles back into what he's normally doing. And now it's a question of who has the better people.
Yeah. Well, I think, and we asked that question in post-game presser to Sharon Moore, and he attributed it to poor tackling. But I always tape the game and I watch certain parts of it. I mean, it was poor tackling because I think they were on their heels. I mean, they were a little unsettled with what Nebraska was or what Wisconsin was doing.
Yeah.
That added to the poor tackling.
It goes back again to, they got scholarship athletes over there too.
Yeah.
And they're trying to save their coach's job, so to speak, right now.
Yep.
So they came out and, hey, we're going to the big house. They played a better game.
Yep. There's no doubt.
We just played better.
What Wisconsin does next week. Now they host an Iowa team that'll bring a ton of fans. Wisconsin fans are downtrodden about their team and fire Fickle and all this stuff. That will be an interesting dynamic at Camp Randall next Saturday if Iowa rolls Wisconsin. And I don't know how that's going to play out. But that $25 million buyout might be an irrelevant issue.
You're gonna see those fans like the fickle fans. The fickle fans will be selling those tickets.
Yes.
To the Hawkeyes. So we'll see the question: how much black?
That. There you go, StubHub. Here we come. They're gonna be rats off a ship.
How much black and gold you see in Camp Randall? Yeah. That will decide how who's on board or who's not, because the like I said, the fickle fan will be, hey, I'm not. Hey, we're over. We're lose. Blah. Let me sell these tickets to these crazy Iowa fans for $150 a piece and give me some money back. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Also next week, before we wrap up, interesting game in the Big Ten: Indiana at Oregon. What happens at that game?
Oh, the Ducks are going to get it done. They had 2 weeks to prepare.
As does Indiana.
Yeah, they got 2 weeks to prepare, and Lanning had those Ducks ready to go.
Okay.
and because he's gonna throw it around, of course, like you said, Google him.
Google. I'm gonna Google Curt Cignetti after the Oregon game and see what I come up with.
Ducks by 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No more than
because
10.
because
Wow. I mean, that's competitive. I will be impressed by Indiana if they keep it.
oh no, they're not going. They're not going. I don't think they're going to because Indiana got dudes over there.
I know they got dudes.
And they're going to come in and what time is that game?
I think that's 3:30 CBS. I think. Yeah.
So that's 12:00 game for them.
Yeah.
So they'll be okay. They won't be too bad.
Okay, he's Kerry Keyton. I'm Tom Crawford here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. Come out and watch every Sunday morning. Hey, I think what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to try to incorporate a little going back to Grant Trevor's Pie Company and do some of that intertwine. Starting, getting back to normal as much as possible, right?
Get back in the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to throw a shout out to FA and Javier and Roof out there. I know a little bit different as it works this one, but broke the conference.
Yeah, they had not won a conference game of CAAC in 2018.
That's crazy.
So like Okemos, getting out of a drought in that regard. UCLA, breaking out in the drought. I mean, never, don't give up. Don't ever give up.
No.
And
no.
Because, if you keep working, eventually things will line up for you.
Eventually it has to, like we're talking about it. Tom Gantner has posted a lot of stuff he's got this prep page and they posted how when Everett broke their streak. Unfortunately, I was the head coach at Eastern when that happened.
Yeah.
And they broke their streak. But then the next week, the next day, he posted where Everett beat a streak versus East Lansing, had beat them in like 18 years. And I happened to be coaching at Everett on the sideline for that one. So just crazy how that works. Like, no, eventually, something has to give. And, just happened to be that day for them and UCLA for them and against, obviously top team. But, shout out to them and all the kids, because you're finding out now, you're really finding out what kind of kids you got, because, it's cutoff week for playoffs. Do you really got a shot?
You got 3 more weeks for the teams that are not going to be in the playoffs. You find out what kind of kids want to keep fighting.
Exactly. And, those kids that somehow find these injuries that they can't play or, they're doing this or doing that or the coaches suck and this, that, whatever. It's like, well, did they suck when they were winning? Because they're probably doing the same things they were doing, but maybe they just don't have as good as players that they used to have, kind of thing. But
there you go.
Big thing is finding out what kind of kids you're dealing with, because are you willing to stay in and fight and keep working, or you want to take that easy road and slide on out of there? So teammates, look at your teammates. See who you're working with.
That's right. Player-led teams. I mean, coaches can do all they want, but player-led teams are the best teams. So, Kerry Keyton, great job. You have a fantastic week and enjoy the homecoming festivities.
Absolutely.
Alma mater next week, Michigan State. Until next time, here in the Crawford Podcasting Network, it's Kerry Eyes, is it?
Go Green.
Go Blue.